people assumed he wrote the novel. Percy and Mary fled to Italy in 1818 to avoid creditors and the fear of losing custody of their children. They had 2 at the time. Both of their young children died in Italy. So she lost 3 children. And then in 1819, she gave birth to her 4th child, a son, the only one who would survive to adulthood. Happy, happy, joy, joy? Probably not so much. Italy provided a decent life for the Shelleys, where they were free to write and spend time living the radical lives they preferred. Mary accepted Percy's interest in other women, and she enjoyed her own rights to free love and non-exclusive marriage. In 1822, Shelley drowned while boating with friends. He was 29. Mary was left penniless to raise her 2-year-old son. Her marriage with Shelley and their financial woes gave her a terrible reputation. She worked in England and wrote for money, but was shunned by most conventional writing circles. At age 48, she became an invalid. She died in 1851 from a brain tumor.
Not so fun.
Am I in this video?
Hey,
Are you sure?
the themes of Frankenstein.
Sweet, I was waiting for that.
If it were me, and I were doing these notes, I would write the themes, light versus darkness, and knowledge versus ignorance. And then it says the most prominent theme, so maybe I'd put a star next to that. But I wouldn't try to write the whole thing, I just write those very basic things. Because yes, of course, as we read, are we going to be talking about these things?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, light versus darkness, knowledge versus ignorance, yes?
You said knowledge versus ignorance was the one you would star, right?
Or both.
Okay.
The most prominent theme in the novel. When characters are seeking information or knowledge, they are represented in darkness. In places where knowledge can be found, it is bright, or there are flashes of light.
So they go hand in hand.
So Walton praises the setting
That's a
of the
good
North Pole,
analysis.
calling it a country of eternal light, and sees it as a place where unlimited knowledge can be found. Victor is inspired by the destructive power of a bolt of lightning and begins researching galvanism, which we will talk more about. Monstrosity. What makes a monster? No one can deny that the creature is monstrous in appearance. As you read, consider what makes a monster and who is responsible for the creature's actions. Some other themes that we will mention: the dangerous power of knowledge, the responsibility or duty of the creator, and the role of natural elements and nature as a backdrop.
Do you want to get that together? Yes. Okay. I don't either.
Frankenstein is not a long book. And long is, I know, depending on who you are, comparative to many people talking. The reason it's going to be maybe a struggle for some of you is it was written in the 1800s. So the language and the writing style is not like reading Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, or The Hunger Games. But it is,
Suzanne Collins.
it's a good novel for you to read for this class because as it's written in that time period, it helps for the AP test, where part of the writings will be written in that time period. And also the great questions it has as we go through. Okay, this is also known as a Gothic novel. Why? because it has the characteristics of one. So, a medieval setting, supernatural events, nobody flies. We're not going to meet Dracula.
Dang it.
Wrong novel. Mysterious characters, including the Byronic hero, which we will talk more about later. And an atmosphere of impending danger.
Thank you.
I'm feeling lucky with this one. Okay, good.
Wait, is it a guy or a girl?
Good.
So I think
Talk to me.
this was written by the father.
Okay,
9:33.
I need you to be noticing
59.
when we talk about the frame novel.
What was 900 in this? Sure.
I beat somebody later.
What?
Okay, so Frankenstein is a frame story.
Did you say
It
Dwight Powell?
begins
Glenn.
with Walton's
Okay.
point of view. Okay, and who is telling a
I
story
like this book.
about his journey in the North Pole and in the North Sea, who meets Victor. Then Victor, Frankenstein, tells his story until he meets the creature. Then the creature tells his story. Then we go back to Victor, who continues the story, and we end with Walton, who finishes the story. So you'll see it. It looks like a frame. We don't see it as much in modern literature as we used to, but it was quite common to do this in the early writings of novels. To start with some background and then get into the main story and then go back at the end. All right. Yeah, that's where I thought. So, let's talk about how we're going to be reading this novel. I want you to notice that it is 10 after 8. 9? 8. 9?
9.
You'd think after a semester my brain would be
10
okay
after
with
9.
that, but 25 years of 7 to
Incorrect is 10.
15, it's
Wow.
still not. It's still screwy in my head.
Just keep on humming.
So, we are
Hum
reading,
the day away.
as it's going to say on
I
our
don't by any
main
chance have
page.
ibuprofen, do you?
Today we're reading letters 1 through 4.
I just started to
But
get
as I
cancer
said,
from
we
the
have 20 minutes. I am
Because I
planning
took some before I came
on
to school.
each class you having about 20 minutes to read.
So can I go?
However, can I find something else to do if you guys aren't reading?
Yes. you can.
Yeah, if you're gonna talk
Absolutely.
and chat about the cute boy or what you did last weekend or the party or whatever else is going on,
What?
but we want to be reading. So let's open it up.
Are we being
And
serious,
I'm
right?
going to start by reading the author's introduction. You have the author's introduction.
Is it the? This is a
You have
big.
this?
The class.
Man, I
I
have
feel
a
like
different
reading
copy.
pictures.
I might have to.
I feel like this is an oddly shaped. It's big, but it's
like-
weirdly tall.
Hey,
Chloe S.
Oh, they're named too? Are we
hey, I'm
sure?
not reading the reading pointers. I'm going to start where it says preface.
Ooh.
Yep, okay. Remember what it was like to be a little kid and be listening to somebody read to